Winter is officially here, friends. It is cold here in North Carolina, and it is the perfect time to talk about something that we are all about to be dealing with, and that is dry skin. Winter is the time of year when skin issues peak, and so today we're going to talk about eczema, psoriasis, and all the things that can go wrong with your skin in the wintertime. So let's head into the herb shop, and we're going to make a remedy to keep your skin soft and healthy all winter long. When it comes to skin, there's only one herb that I turn to every single time, and that is calendula. And that's what we're going to talk about today. But before I introduce you to this happy little flower, I first need to tell you a story about how I came to know this flower. So calendula and I became friends by accident. This flower is actually in the marigold family. It's commonly known as pot marigolds. So, for me, herbs started, number one, as a way to heal my Lyme disease, but number two, I was growing the herbs to help with my vegetable garden. And I had read that marigolds in particular were wonderful companion plants and would help repel aphids and spider mites and all kinds of things. So we planted what I thought was the right kind of marigolds for companion planting. But actually I planted pot marigolds, which are calendula. And I'll show you the difference here on the screen. So pot marigolds are medicinal marigolds. And these are the ones when you see a recipe that calls for marigolds, these are pot marigolds or calendula. And this is the one you want. On the other hand, if you're companion planting and you're looking for something to keep the pest away, this is the marigold that you want. So there's two different kinds. They're in the same family, but the marigold that you're going to use for companion planting is not a good one for medicinal purposes. It's not one that you want to take internally. So the first thing you need to know is which kind of marigold you're growing, and I did not. So I grew the wrong marigold, and then I wound up with all these beautiful flowers, but they couldn't really be used for the purpose I was growing them for. So I did some research, and I learned that calendula is the number one flower or herb for skincare. And I started thinking, maybe I can do something with this. So then as I got further into herbs and started to learn more, I learned that it's not just good for skincare, it's good for any skin problem, but specifically eczema and psoriasis, which when it comes to skin issues, those two are the big ones, the ones that we have the most trouble treating. And so calendula is an herb that you need to know if you or one of your children or grandchildren struggle with skin problems. So the first time I put this stuff to use, I was cooking in my kitchen, and I love to cook in a cast iron pan. I don't know about you guys, but nothing beats a cast iron. And I was frying bacon in a cast iron pan, and as it happens sometimes, the pan got too hot, the grease splattered, and it flew up on my hand, and I had a massive burn up my thumb and onto my wrist. And it bubbled up, it blistered, and it was like a solid 2nd degree burn. It was pretty bad, so painful. And I reached for all the creams that we had in the house, and nothing was working. Everything made it worse. I was trying all the old remedies, putting mustard on it, trying vinegar, all the things. I even tried butter. That was a terrible idea. And nothing helped. And then I remembered I had calendula that I had dried, knowing it was good for skin, but I had not done anything with it yet. So I literally took the calendula flowers and I just packed them over that burn, and I wrapped it. And just packing the flowers on it eased the burn and brought some immediate relief. And then I turned it into an oil, and I'm going to teach you how to do this in a minute. And I made a calendula oil, and I started putting that on the burn. And you guys, I don't even have a scar anymore. It has completely healed that. And for the longest time, I had this gnarly, nasty big scar. So calendula oil has helped heal the scar, but it's also just really healed my skin completely. We also use this one for my daughter who struggles with eczema. Now, I have one kid in particular who has been my allergy and asthma kid from the start. And that child has had eczema almost from the day she was born, okay? Like, she has really battled. And this is what ultimately has brought her relief, where she doesn't struggle with it anymore. And winter is the time when all this flares up, because when your skin gets dry, then it will crack, and then the eczema gets worse. And a lot of times we have fungal things at play, because eczema tends to happen like in the creases of your arms or behind the neck or behind the knees. Those are the places eczema thrives. So if we can protect those areas with a moisture barrier that is also antifungal and antimicrobial, then we can prevent the eczema from causing true damage. So let's make a skin serum that helps with eczema. So I have one here that's been brewing, and we're going to strain this together, but let me show you how to make it first. So it's so simple. All you need to make this incredible eczema skin serum is you need a mason jar, just a small jar. You're going to need some kind of oil. I'm using fractionated coconut oil, because coconut oil has some antifungal and antimicrobial properties, which are just going to make this even better. And then we're going to use some calendula flowers. And you guys, they smell good, but they are even more beautiful. Can you see this? Do you see how pretty these are? So I just take a big old scoop of my flowers and put them in my jar. And I'm gonna do 2 scoops. I'm gonna fill this jar about halfway full, okay? And if you don't grow calendula, or it's too cold now to grow calendula where you are, you can order some of this from our herb shop. We grew a ton of it this year, and we have dried it, and we have plenty. So if you need some, we'll share. So here we go. So we got about half a jar full of calendula. This is just the petals, just the flowers is all we're using. We'll move that to the side. And then we're going to add our oil. Now you can use any oil you like for this. Some people prefer sweet almond oil. Some people will use a jojoba oil. I just really like, when I'm doing something that's going for a skin issue like this, I really like coconut because of the antifungal. I think it just adds something extra. So you fill your jar with oil, just enough to cover those flowers, and then you put a lid on it and you give it a shake. Just a good shake to infuse it and mix it all in. And then we're going to sit this up on the shelf, and we're going to let this infuse for 4 to 6 weeks. You can even go longer if you want to. Or if you're like, Amber, I have eczema today. Like, I can't wait 4 weeks for this to be ready. You're going to make your jar, and then you're going to put it down into your crock pot and set the crock pot on warm or low, the lowest setting that's on there, just enough to just barely heat it. And you're going to put this in there, and you're going to let it infuse for several hours on low, and it will infuse it a whole lot faster. It's basically a shortcut method. So if you need it now, you can do it that way. You could also do it on the stove with like a double boiler, and you could put your oil and your calendula flowers in a double boiler over a simmering pot of water and melt it together and infuse it that way for a couple of hours. Those are the quick methods that just add a little bit of heat to the infusion. The best method is the patient method, where you wait and you let good old time do the trick. But if you need it now, you can do a shortcut. So this is how we make it. But now let me show you the magic that happens as it infuses. Because over time, what happens is all of the good properties of those flowers are going to infuse into the oil. And then you can use this oil straight on your skin as a protective barrier against moisture, or you could also use it as a healing ointment if you have a breakout. This is good for cuts, scrapes, eczema, psoriasis, literally anything for skin. You can use this on babies. You could use this for diaper rash. It is literally so effective, but yet so gentle that even tiny babies could use this one. And I'm going to tell you a fun fact about calendula. We're going to pour this through a strainer. Calendula also is wonderful for your stomach if you take it internally. There's been some research that shows calendula is helpful for stomach ulcers. And I haven't really shared a whole lot of this part of my health story, but in addition to the Lyme stuff, I also have diverticulitis. And because of that, I have some ongoing stomach problems, and calendula is one that I've been using to try to treat that at home. And I'm going to keep you posted on that. I'm going to use it for a bit and see how it goes, and then I'll report back to you if it was helpful. I try to always test things before I recommend them to you. Even if there's tons of research that proves it, I'm like, I got to try it. I want to know for sure before I tell you. So, okay, we have strained this out, and you want to mash and get every bit of the oil out of those flowers that you can. Every little drop is precious. And what's left behind is really just sort of little petals. I mean, they're almost crispy after sitting in that oil for so long. And then the oil that they leave us with is right here, and you can see it's yellow. It has taken on the color of those pretty calendula flowers, and now it's ready to use. So at this point, you could literally just grab you a little dab of oil out of there, put it on your hand, warm it up between your hands, rub them together, and then apply it wherever you're having an issue. So you would, just rub it in. Now, if you prefer putting on like a cream consistency, you could take this and you could add beeswax to it, and you could turn it into a salve. You could add some beeswax to this and then put it in the fridge for a few hours to cool it down. Then get you a hand mixer and beat it up, whip it up really good on a high speed, and it will turn into like a whipped body butter consistency. There are endless things you can do with this to make it however you like it, but it's really as simple as infusing an oil, and then you can use the oil. That's how I prefer to do it. I know a lot of people love the body butters and the salves, but I like really simple, really clean skincare. The moisturizer that I put on my face every night, it is an oil that is infused with calendula, bee balm, roses, and lavender. And so, just a straight oil is sometimes perfect. So do it however you want to do it. But my goal today is to introduce you to a simple little flower that can have incredible results in your family. And here's the thing. How often have you stood in a drugstore looking at a shelf full of products and you had no idea what to choose? As a mom, I have been there so many times. And you look and it's like there's 100 creams and ointments to pick from on the shelf. Half of them have the same ingredients, but then there's all these ingredients you don't know how to pronounce. You don't know what they are. You don't know what they do. And as a mom, it's just frustrating because I want to use simple, clean products for my little ones. And so herbs give me that. And in a way where I don't even have to go to the drugstore, I can make it at home. And in a lot of ways, I think calendula is sort of like your own little home first aid kit because it helps with so many things. You can drink it as a tea for upset tummies. You can use it on skin for cuts, scrapes, burns, anything. So it's just one that's good to keep on hand, just in case you need it. So here's what I want to invite you to do today. Better yet, here's what I want to challenge you to do today. I want to challenge you to make your own calendula oil, your own serum that you can use for your babies and your family. This is a very simple DIY project. Your kids can even help you with it. And I would love to hear from you if you make it. Use this winter as a skin protectant to treat little boo-boos and ouchies, whatever you have going on in your house. And if you try this for eczema or psoriasis, I would love to hear from you on how effective it is. Did it work for you? And did you prefer to use it as an oil, or did you prefer it as a salve or a body butter? Let's talk about it in the comments, and let's share tips. If you deal with ongoing chronic skin issues and you know some natural things, let us know in the comments. We are better together. And most of all, I want to encourage you to take control of your health. Listen, we are going into the season where sickness abounds, right? Everybody's getting colds, everybody gets the flu in the winter. And this year, let's do it different. Let's rely on natural remedies and do it the way our great-great-grandmothers did. And let's see what a difference it would make. Let's see if this year our families can do better than they do in years past just by reaching for herbs instead of over-the-counter pharmaceuticals. And if you need help figuring out which herbs to use, where to start, if it just feels a little overwhelming, I want to invite you to grab a copy of my Everyday Herbalist Guide. It's an instant download, so you can start reading it literally right now. And this is going to walk you through herbalism start to finish for a very beginner. Even if you have zero idea how to use herbs, what herbs even are, we're going to walk you through it. So grab a copy of that instant guide, grab a bag of calendula so that you can make the skin serum, and I hope you have a happy, healthy winter this year. We will see you next week for another lesson in Herbs That Heal, and I pray that our good Lord will bless you and your family this holiday season. See you next time, friends.